Welcome to the full Bible story. This program tells the adventure of the Bible, maybe in ways you've never quite heard it before. You'll hear the story chronologically, cradled in the events of the day, and you'll experience how the world the Bible characters lived in influenced what they saw, what they did, and how they believed. Hi, I'm Jim Mosley, host of the Full Bible Story. Today we're going to consider the proof of God. Did man imagine God? Is God a myth, a fable, or is he an objective fact? Can we prove the existence of God without recourse to faith? In the days of Jesus' apostles, the Gnostics were people who believed that in order to free oneself from the material world, one needed gnosis, or special secret knowledge of God. Now, an agnostic, by the way, is simply an atheist without courage. An atheist says that God doesn't exist. He's sure about that. An agnostic says that he has insufficient knowledge to tell whether God exists or not. But he not only thinks that he doesn't know, he thinks nobody can know. If you ever want to stump an atheist, ask him to prove the non-existence of God. Try it yourself. Atheists always want believers to show them proof that God does exist, which is easy, but never expect to meet the challenge of proving his non-existence, which is logically impossible. That's why agnostics are a bit cleverer. They know they can't disprove the existence of God, but they know they can stand on apparently safe turf if they say that God's existence can neither be proven nor disproven. They bank on the ignorance of most people. Atheists are sitting on a short fuse. Agnostics on a slightly longer fuse. That's all the difference there is between them. The proof for the existence of God is fairly simple. It requires no faith and no recourse to the Bible. All you need is pure, cold logic. We're going to use laws described by Isaac Newton, René Descartes, and Aristotle, thinkers whose proven genius should be acceptable to any skeptic. The proof revolves around the origin of the universe, and it goes as follows. Of the universe, only 4 things can be true. 1, it doesn't really exist. It's an illusion. That's what Hinduism and Buddhism essentially teach. Number 2, it always existed from eternity past. That's what pantheism and atheism teach. Number 3, it created itself. That's what mythology teaches. Number 4, it was created. That's what theism teaches. Now, you take a moment and see if you can add a 5th or 6th or 7th possibility to this list. I already know you can't, but go ahead and try. Well, here are the problems with each of those theories. Number 1, if the universe doesn't really exist, it's just an illusion. Well, then since you are a part of the universe, you do not exist. But if you are thinking that you do not exist, you are still thinking. Since to think you must exist, you exist. René Descartes put it this way: cogito ergo sum. I think, therefore I am. So if there's nothing else in the universe except for you, at least you exist, and therefore the universe must also exist. Number 2, the universe always existed from eternity past. Well, Newton's second law of thermodynamics and all scientific observations that we have tell us that the universe is winding down. That means its kinetic energy is converting irretrievably to potential energy. And what that means is if the universe existed from eternity past, it would have run down and ceased to exist in eternity ago. How about number 3? The universe created itself. Well, to create itself, the universe would have to exist before it existed in order to bring itself into existence. Aristotle taught, nothing comes from nothing. Now, Sherlock Holmes said, eliminate the impossible. Whatever is left, however improbable, must be the truth. So we are left with a single possibility. The universe was created. And if the universe was created, logically, it had a creator. Let's ask the same questions about the Creator that we asked about the universe. So, can the Creator, number 1, be an illusion? Number 2, always have existed from eternity past? Number 3, have created himself? Number 4, be created by another creator? Well, here are the logical answers to those questions. Could the Creator be an illusion? While reality can create an illusion cannot create a reality. If the universe is real and not illusory, its creator must also be real. So the Creator can't be an illusion. Number 3, can the Creator have created himself? Well, the Creator cannot have created himself for the same reason that the universe cannot have done so, because he would have to exist before he existed to bring himself into existence. It's purely illogical. Nothing comes from nothing. Can the Creator have been created by another creator? Well, if the Creator was created by a creator, who created the Creator's creator? This is just the problem of what we call infinite regression. It doesn't solve the problem, it just pushes the question further and further back until we lose sight of it. This is intellectual procrastination, not logic. Anyone who accepts this is like a person who reaches some conclusion because he's just too tired to continue thinking. So the second case, number 2, must be the real condition of the Creator. The Creator existed from eternity past. Let's consider for a moment cause and effect. Newton's first law of motion states that a body at rest remains at rest, and a body in motion remains in motion unless acted on by an external unbalanced force. The 6th century Greek philosopher Thales understood this when he looked at motion in the world around him. He pondered this especially when he observed the waves on the seashore. For the sea to be in motion, something must have moved it. Wind, currents, tide. If nothing acted to put the sea in motion, it would be at rest, and it would stay at rest forever. He realized the same must be true of the universe. There was no reason for anything to be moving in the whole universe unless something had made the first move. But who? Who was the prime mover? Thales understood it must be God. All effects have causes, but not all causes have causes. God is the first cause. The first cause has no cause. Nothing caused him. He is not an effect, because all effects emanate from God. Thomas Aquinas called God the ens necessarium, the necessary being. He is necessary because logic forces us to realize that if anything exists, God must exist. The next most compelling question is, since God exists, what is he like? If God is the Creator, he may have caused the creation in one of 3 ways. Number 1, accidentally. He can't help himself. The creation is just a byproduct of his existence, just as we breathe out CO2. Number 2, maliciously. He is an angry God who created the world for his sadistic pleasure. Number 3, lovingly. He is a loving God who created the world so that he could love and cherish it and us and you personally. Now, the first possibility is easy to refute. If God is the author of everything, he is also the author of the laws governing the world. If the world were a mere byproduct of his existence outside of his voluntary control, then natural laws would govern God. But the creator of anything is greater than what it creates. So if God created the laws governing existence, he is greater than those laws. Those laws are subject to him. He cannot be subject to the laws, or he wouldn't be God. Consequently, God must have created the world on purpose. God cannot simply be a passive, impersonal power of existence. So is God one of the other 2 alternatives? Is he evil or loving? The gods of ancient Greece were flagrantly evil. They killed, deceived, tortured, and raped each other and human beings. The relationship of ancient Greeks to their gods was fear. People sacrificed to the gods, hoping the gods would stay out of their lives. Even when the gods favored someone, far too often, they betrayed them to a tragic fate. They seemed to play with human beings like a sadistic cat toying with a mouse. Is God like that? Does he cause evil to reign upon the human race for his sadistic pleasure? If so, it would be wise to make our relationship to him as remote as possible. Or is God a loving creator with a personal interest in everything he creates, from the smallest sparrow to the tiniest child, to the rulers of the earth? This is what the Bible tells us. It says God is love. If this is true, God would be worth knowing, because he would want to have a loving relationship with you and me. We would want to get as close as possible to an all-powerful, all-wise, and all-generous Father and King. So how can we know the answer to this question? Well, the Bible is really our only clue. It claims to be the Word of God. If it is, we can trust it to tell us the truth about God, and perhaps about ourselves. As we go forward, we will prove that the Bible is divine, not merely human in origin, and that it reveals a God who truly is love. God is a fact. Recognizing a fact requires no faith, only logic. He is the uncreated creator, the uncaused first cause, the unmoved prime mover. He is eternally self-existent. He's greater than all he created, so he is subject to none of nature's laws. They all emanate from and are subject to him. For more detailed information on this subject, you can download the full book, God is a Fact, from fullbiblestory.com. This is your host, Jim Mosley. God bless you.